Hello, everybody. Welcome to the studio this evening. I'm very excited to be painting this big guy over here, Bigfoot, the crowning achievement of all cryptids. This is going to be fun. Can't wait to dive into this. Everybody, welcome. Whoops, I got Dory here, and all of a sudden Dory's too high. There we go. Dory is here with us, ready to paint Bigfoot. Couple of things in our housekeeping. I've got my Bigfoot drawn out on Fabriano Studio watercolor paper. There it is. My paints over on my right hand side are my M-Gram paints. Going to be using my King art brushes for the most part. I'll probably get into, as we paint the background, whatever this is, my big golden maple brush up here. If you see me reach up there, I've got my water up there, and with that, I'm ready to go. Hello, Kenya. Hello, Dwayne. We've got some other people here. Hello, whoever you are. Reach out and say hello. I love to talk during these live streams. Part of why I do it is because it's fun to interact with everybody and to, hold a discussion while I'm doing it. If I didn't want to do that, I would just paint by myself. So please reach out and say something, say hello. I'm going to start by painting a very light wash on the back of Bigfoot here, and we'll talk about Bigfoot as I'm doing it. So the story as I know it, and somebody can correct me if and when I go wrong, and I'm okay being corrected if I'm wrong. Sometime, in 1967, Bob Patterson and Robert Gimlin decided to, and it was not by accident, take a trip to Northern California to do some exploring and try to film Bigfoot. The previous year, Bob Patterson had been there and spoken with a number of the ranchers and farmers around there and had seen some casts of some giant feet. He was very excited and wanted to come back and make a movie about it, a documentary about it. So he came back, brought Robert Patterson with him. I think Robert Patterson, I think that's his name. Bob Gimlin and Robert Patterson, I think that's right. They spent about a week backpacking in Northern California, about 30 miles south of the California-Oregon border. They were just getting ready to pack up and leave. They weren't going to be out too much longer when they came across an old washed out riverbed or creek bed. And as they were trotting along on their horses, out from the woods trotted this figure. This is part of, this image that you see there is a recreation of it. It's not the original film image, but they started shooting film, and in the Patterson-Gimlin film, frame 323 roughly is that. So it took me a while to understand what I was seeing when I looked at this. And if you ever look at the real image, you'll see there's some woodsy areas or some greener areas behind and a gray area in front. That gray area in front is the river wash that this animal was walking past, and we're gonna recreate that along with our green background here. There we go. That's the riverbed. Got some green growing in there. I'm going to let this kind of flow together a little bit. It'll still be blue. And then in the foreground, the image that you see over here in the foreground, those are all different logs and sticks and rocks and everything that have been pushed down that riverbed in the flood that caused everything to be there and washed everything away. And so that's why it looks the way it does. what I've got there is a very simplified version of that. Oh, look, I've got some green I still need to go through over here. But we're still gonna have some fun painting this. And yes, one of the things I've yet to do in life is to go out squatching. I really want to go out and spend the night traipsing around. I really do. I think it would be fun. I'm not really expecting to see anything, but I think it would be fun to go traipsing around hunting for a Bigfoot. I watch all the shows on Discover Channel or History Channel about Bigfoot. JC says, yep, that's the basics. I was in the Bigfoot online community a few years ago. I still have a few friends from Bigfoot world. Bigfoot is cool. I really want, truth be told, I really want Bigfoot to be real. I really want Bigfoot to be real. I'm just not convinced Bigfoot is real. I think there are a lot of other reasons why we would have some footprints here and there, or some things that look like Bigfoot, maybe some strange sounds even, but I want to believe he's real. I'm like Fox Mulder. I want to believe all this stuff. It's so fun to think about. Let's see. All right, Kenya, you believe. All right, we got one believer. Thank you, Kenya. I'm with you. Let's believe in Bigfoot. Bigfoot for life. Let's see. I'm gonna fill in a couple spaces here. I think the rest of these can be logs, but I'm gonna fill in a couple of spaces. Something like that. I think that'll be fine. I think that is gonna be our background, most of our middle ground here, and then we're gonna tighten up our foreground in front. And I think we are off and running, having a really good start. JC. I don't think Bigfoot is real. It's fun, though. That's okay. I can live with that. That's a fair assessment. There are a lot of things that maybe aren't real, but are fun to think about, and you wish they were real. It doesn't make me want to stop hoping. It would be how interesting, how fun would it be if we could actually find something like a Bigfoot out there? I just think that would be completely fascinating and fun, and that would make my day. But if he's not real, that's okay. I could still have fun looking for him. So, the basic things we have here, right, are very loose background up here. I've got a little background. That might actually end up giving some extra interest to the background. There's going to be one that's going to develop here, and I've got a slight one over here. I'm not going to worry about it. I told myself I want to put a background on. I want to make sure I do it first. I want to make sure I do it light enough that whatever I paint in front is going to be come right off the top. Hopefully, as we move down to the foreground, this doesn't have to change much. Maybe we'll put some sticks and twigs or something in there. But really, these logs here in the foreground hopefully pull that forward to the viewer, and Bigfoot sits right in the middle. And of course, he's centered right in the page, which is the way I want him to be. If I were doing this on a Saturday afternoon or trying to be artful about it, like, I'm going to frame it and put it in my office wall or something, I'd probably put him off center a little bit, and take care of the rule of thirds. I'd center him in one of these points up here, probably down in this corner, and give more of a broader perspective around him. But for purposes of what we're doing, I think this is totally fine. JC says, it would be amazing if it was real. I buy into all the conspiracies. I don't buy into them. I enjoy listening to all the conspiracies. I think they're all fantastic in their own way. This has nothing to do with Bigfoot. I was talking to a friend of mine today about the Titanic conspiracy, that the Titanic that's at the bottom of the ocean is not the real Titanic. It's the Olympic. The real Titanic was swapped out and stayed in service until the 1960s or 1970s, a long, long time. Anyways, that's a fun one too. There's so many good conspiracy theories. They're fun to listen to. I'm biding my time. I'm just babbling. until this dries up a little bit. I don't want to put some color on Bigfoot and then have it run into the background. So some other names, let's do this. Some other names for Bigfoot: the skunk ape, Sasquatch, what's it called? The grass man in Florida, the Florida grass man. All relatives, are all related. If you ask me, I think they're all the same. Very much related. We've got 10 or so people here. I'm looking at my number count, and everybody who's out there, just give a hi if you would. Give a like to this. That'd be great too. JC says, never heard the Titanic conspiracy. Something for everyone, I guess. So the Titanic conspiracy, while I'm waiting for this to dry, is a really interesting one because the Olympic, the sister ship, did actually get into a wreck before the Titanic was actually launched. And the conspiracy is that the two ships were swapped, and the Olympic, then renamed the Titanic, was sunk on purpose to be able to claim the insurance money for it. Let's see. In the South Boogers, Arizona called Mongolian monster. Wow. Okay, a Mongolian monster. I like that. See, okay, I think we're just about there. So, if everybody thinks about Bigfoot, obviously that image is very dark, almost a black. The original image from Patterson-Gimlin, the monster Bigfoot, was black. I'm not going to paint Bigfoot black. I'm going to go with a brownish, grayish, I'm going to fall back to my old friend burnt umber and sepia. And if we need to, I'll mix a little bit of red in there. All of the reports are that Bigfoot can have colors between like an auburn and black, any of those colors in there. I just think if it's a little more brown, maybe a little red mixed in there, he's going to pop off the page better than something being black. Black is such a dark color, a difficult color to work with, and I'm going to try to stay away from it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one layer of color on him totally, and then we'll move on to the wood down in front. Hopefully he'll dry. And then I'm hoping we can go back in and maybe do some bigger pieces and wet a bigger area to let the water do what it wants to. The water and paint do what it wants to. Let's see how that goes. I know sometimes I say I'm going to do that and I never get to it. But let's see what happens today. And I'm going to go right up. I'm going to paint right up to the edge that I've got here. I've got some lines drawn on there where I'm going to put some lines for fur or hair. So those might go into the background or the middle ground a little bit. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to, wherever I end up painting, wherever that edge is, I'm going to paint some hair on his outside going around that, and then we'll see how that turns out. And I think that's going to work for a really nice Bigfoot here. For anybody who's worried about it, Bigfoot already has a home. I've already found a place for Bigfoot, the painting, to live. When it's done, I work with a guy who's already got one Bigfoot painting on his wall. He's got several shirts that have Bigfoot on, a hat that's got Bigfoot on. So he's a Bigfoot fan. And so this Bigfoot, if it turns out okay, is going to find its way to his office, and he'll be well on his way to having a Bigfoot collection. Well, let's just keep going with this. Maybe we can even mix in, maybe we can gray this down a little bit with some of that blue color that we used for the riverbed. It's a gray blue, but with the blue undertone to it and the warmness of the brown. It's going to mix and make a nice gray. And hopefully I'm doing this just quickly enough that I'm not going to get a back run actually on Bigfoot. Although, I have to say, if we do, maybe it's not going to matter all that much. But I want to make sure I get this on quickly. I don't always do a great job of painting larger areas all wet all the time. So I want to be cognizant of my time and get this on as quickly as possible. I probably should be using a little bit larger brush. Is Liza here? Liza's here. Welcome, Liza. We missed you last week. I'm glad to have you back. Liza, do you believe in Bigfoot? Is Bigfoot real, or is Bigfoot just a story? Then there's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong answer. I will admit to having been in the forest. I used to do quite a lot of camping and hearing some quite strange sounds from time to time. Sounds that I couldn't necessarily place as a different kind of animal. Now, that certainly doesn't mean I don't know what that animal was, so it had to be a Bigfoot. Not saying that at all, but it was curious. It was not something I had heard before. Actually, I've heard similar sounds multiple times. So maybe there were multiple Bigfoots there, or Bigfoots on multiple camping trips. I don't know. Okay, there we go. We got some general color on him. I think he's starting to look good. Liza says, thanks, just a story. But when I was a kid, I went to a movie about him. Did you see let's see. I believe in 1972, Patterson and Gimlin took their movie around the country and showed it to, or tried to sell it to, independent movie theaters so everybody could see it. Let's see, I haven't been around much because I've been following the Adelson trial, going into lives about that, but I think you're all fondly, even if I'm not here. We're all so Liza, if you're watching that trial, you have an excuse. And if I didn't say that, my wife would be very angry with me because she's following that trial very closely. So I have to give you a little grace for that. Okay. So while I'm waiting for this to dry a little bit so I can come in here, let's talk a little bit about shading on Bigfoot before we get there. I want to make sure I get under this arm, maybe some of this arm, in a dark shaded area, and probably some here. The light in general is coming down this way, right? In general, it's coming this way. So we're going to have some dark areas on the shoulder, on the arm here, and on the bottom of the arm over here. But what's going to make this tricky is that his stomach area here, right? This is a leg that comes up this way. So his stomach area here should be dark, right? It's okay if his leg is lighter, but this should be dark. But then this underneath here, right? This underneath part, wherever I'm showing his arm here, should be dark too. But if we make this all one dark patch, we're not going to get a layer of a leg, stomach, and arm behind it. So we've got to be cognizant about how we put these three colors together. I think that's the only area that we have different areas like that coming together. And then the back leg back here should get some shadow on it, and maybe a little bit of the front leg coming down here or over here. We'll get to that. And then part of his head and part of his face up here and around his chin should be in shadow too. So that's where we're going with all of this up here. JC, Liza, the Adelson thing is crazy. People are waiting for W getting pulled in. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know all of that. Michael, I must know. Does your wife think that Wendy and Harv should be arrested? I don't know. Let's find out. I've let's find out. Let's text her. The live stream wants to know if you think that Wendy and Harv should be arrested. All right. Let's find out what she has to say. Okay. Now, we've got some trees in the front here, right? Some logs that have been washed downstream. They've been baking in the sun. Jacqueline is here. Hello, Jacqueline. They're going to be a little darker than stuff back here, a little different color. I'm not going to make them necessarily darker because they're pretty blue or pretty gray. I think we're going to make our own gray and put on here so it's not so blue as this. And of course, our own gray means our friend up here, ultramarine. Actually, let's not use ultramarine this time. Let's use cobalt blue. And let's just see what color we come up with. Cobalt blue and burnt umber, and we got a text back. And here's the gray, and I think that gray is a fine color. Look at that for an old tree or something that you might think of as like a driftwood color. Look at that's a fantastic color, and look how different it is from that gray, and how different it's going to be from our Bigfoot. So I think we're all good with that. Let's see what the answer is. Okay, so the answer is not sure there's enough evidence to get Marv. Oh, and yes, she should. So you got 2 points there. Wendy, yes. Marv, maybe. Let's see. Will this be your male or female Bigfoot? The claim is that Patty is female. The claim is that Patty, who's that, or the original picture that was taken from, was female. I think this Bigfoot is going to be non-binary. Let's get some paint on and see what the paint has to say about whether this is Pat or Patty. How about that? How's that for being non-committal? I don't really know. You're right that the original Bigfoot was said to have been female. I don't know what this one is. I don't know what this one should be. But I know that we're just going to get some color on here, and we're going to let the color tell us what's going on with it. And I'm going to try to get a nice large area of wetness here that all this paint can kind of run around and have a good time with. And we'll see how it goes from there. Let's see, I'm going to bring that down this way even. Let's get some color over here. And this, look, I've got a big puddle here. I want to take some of that puddle away. I like the color. I'm just not sure I want it puddled up quite like that. And there we go. We've got starting to get a little bit of color on Bigfoot here. Does it look more like a Pat or a Patty so far? I'm not sure. I'm not willing to commit quite yet. Jacqueline says, what did Jacqueline say? Liza, can you, Dwayne? All great to be here. No worries. Ooh, somebody said something. Liza says, Jacqueline, no worries. Jacqueline, no worries. Did I miss something? I don't know. Everybody says hello, 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 hello. Okay, cool. Jacqueline, I'm glad you're here. It's been a while, but I'm glad to have you back here. It's wonderful to have you as part of the community, a part of the stream. So thank you for taking time out of your day to be here. Pat is Pat. It's Pat. Let's make sure our color that's coming on here is Pat approved. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'm not quite ready to claim this is just Pat yet, as we'll likely have a couple of other layers of color to come on here. Whoops, and I went just outside the line here. So what I'm hoping to do, right, and I'll just let you in. Oh my gosh, I do remember Pat from Saturday Night Live. That was a long time ago. What I'm hoping to do, as I let you have a little peek behind the curtain, is my painting style, and that just got too much water on there. My painting style is to put some paint on and push it all around until it goes where I want it to go, and then call it good and be done with it. And while I think that works pretty well, I can easily see where I could make some paintings or some lines or whatnot that make the painting look a little overworked. And so as I was sitting down and thinking about some of the paintings I did, I wanted to make sure that my paintings didn't have that overworked look. So this is part of trying to do that. This is part of me trying to make this look not overworked. And one way you can do that is to put your color on and then let the paint do what the paint's going to do. Right? The paint's going to run around, and the paint's going to settle in some areas, and it's going to move away from some other areas. And if you allow the paint to do painty type things, there's sometimes that magic can really happen, right? And you can get some cool textures, and you get some cool looks that I can't get on my own by forcing it to go different ways. Right, already, look, we've got some lighter areas and some darker areas, and it's a darker brown here and a lighter brown here, and we're already got a little bit of interest going on there, and we haven't done any more really than just put a little bit of paint on there. Now, the thing I have to do is check myself, take a deep breath, and not do anything that's going to touch that until that's dry, so I don't screw it up. And then maybe I have to go over it with another layer, but we'll figure that out. Jacqueline says, thought that's who you guys were referring to. I'm not. Yes, androgynous Pat. Yes, that's who we're referring to. Pat is Pat. Pat. I might have missed something having dropped in. No, you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything. Pat was a character on Saturday Night Live that was androgynous, and we never knew if Pat was... if it was boy Pat or girl Pat. And that's kind of what the whole running joke of the skit was. Okay, and now I've kind of boxed myself into a corner, haven't I? Because I can't paint this arm because that's wet. I can't paint the head because that's wet. Can't paint that arm because that's wet. Can't paint this log because that's wet. I can't paint this group of logs because that's wet. So I just get to sit and tell stories again. I guess that's all there is to it. This is going to be great. I don't think it'll take too long to dry up. It's a warm day today. I should say it's blow dryer time. I could get the blow dryer out. It's an extremely warm day today. When I got into my car after work, and I don't know how accurate the thermometer is in there. The thermometer read 91, and that would make this one of the hottest days of the year here. I obviously don't live in town where I work. I live on the coast, and by the time I got home at 4:45, 10 to 5, it was a high of 74 here, which is not too far off the norm. And in the studio, when I came out here this evening, it was only about 78. You're lucky we are presently at 48. 48. That's cold. That's too cold. Okay, let me put you on mute for just a second. Okay, now I will tell you one of the things about this method of letting the paint be paint that is maddening is that, where's my pointer? I need my pointer. We can have this cool darker and lighter area, darker and lighter area, and that'll be there right now. If we didn't get our colors as dark as we want, which they are not as dark as I want them, and we have to go over a second time, we might completely obliterate this area. So it's something you have to watch out for. Getting it right or allowing it to be what it is from time to time is a thing, and it's sometimes difficult. We're going to figure it out. Dwayne's at 53. You're like 48, 53 and 48. Oh, chilly. I don't know how you guys live like that. I will admit to being completely soft since I've moved to California, or turning completely soft since I've moved to California. Our climate here is where I live, not where I work. Actually, it's not much different from where I work typically, but where I live, which is right on the coast. It's very temperate, and our summer days typically here are mid-70s. That's a warm summer day for us, is mid-70s. I got paint on my hand again. And a cold winter day, a cold winter night, let's say that. A cold winter night will be in the mid-30s. If it's extremely cold, it'll get into the 20s. Whoops. But usually, we're hanging out in the mid-30s. And during the day, it will get up to, I don't know, it'll get up into the low mid-40s during the winter. And then, in the summer, a cold night will be in the mid-50s, mid to upper 50s. Kenny's at 48 too. You guys live in cold areas of the country, I'm telling you. I mean, a number of years ago, I went back to visit my father, who still lives in Ohio. And, I went back at Christmas time. Got off the airplane in Cleveland, and I went, oh my God, did I used to live in this weather? This is so cold. I didn't know what to do. So, of course, being my father, the first thing he did was assign me the task of shoveling the driveway. I guess he figured that would warm me up a little bit. Which it did. It totally did. All right, got some color underneath his arm here. Right, some darkness under there. Maybe this can go into what I'm gonna call his armpit there. Some of this can come off a little bit, and I think we're getting some really good color in here. This can come up. This looks more like a club to me than a hand, but we'll put on a couple of details that'll make that look more hand-ish, I promise. We'll go right up to the line. There. I think that's a good arm. That's a pretty good arm. Actually, I want to bring this. I've still got some water on his arm. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. This whole area here, I think, is in a little bit of shadow. Let's try that. Let's see how that works out. I think that'll be a little bit better. Okay, so we've got an arm. Let's try this one over here now, right? I can get that whole thing wet again. If I don't put my hand in my gamboge as I go to get more color out of my palette, I think we'll be all right. Let's see how this goes on. Let's get this all nice and wet, this entire area. And I should say, it just happened by happenstance. It's just absolutely by happenstance. I was reminded of this. I used to do this more often, paint like this more often, where you'd wet a whole place, and I kind of, as things happen, as you go on, you get more comfortable with a certain way of doing things. But I happened to see a Luis Damasi video, or part of one. It wasn't even a whole video. If anybody's ever seen one of her paintings, not only is she absolutely hysterical, but she is a fantastic artist, and she does these big washes on wide areas and puts paint on and pushes it around and basically lets it do what it wants to do with minimum of control. And I went, God, I used to do that. Why don't I do that anymore? So I guess I'm kind of getting back to basics a little bit. As I said, I look forward to getting back to my watercolors for the winter. There you go. You do all of your oil and chalk pastels in summer. Like Louise, I love Louise, and Jacqueline, you follow her too. She's hysterical. Oh my. She's so funny, and she's fantastic. So not that I'm necessarily suggesting everybody go out and follow somebody else, but if you were to follow somebody, she would be a very good one to follow. She's great. Underratedly funny. She makes some jokes that I just think are outrageously funny, and she just kind of says them like they're nothing, and you don't expect it from her because she's got such a soft little voice. But she's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so, and we've got some color here, and if I don't mess with this too much, I'm actually kind of liking the way that the color on that arm is. I think that's actually pretty good right now. I do need to just kind of smudge this area in here, and I'm not going to mess with it too much. Stop messing with it. Please stop messing with it. Okay, I'm going to stop messing with it. Sometimes I got to tell myself, don't mess with stuff anymore. Just check yourself before you wreck yourself. Maybe I want to accentuate. He's got more of a muscle right there. I'm going to paint around that muscle. Come on, Pat. You got a big muscle right there. Okay, cool. And now I'm going to not touch that. Look at that arm. There's interest. I don't know. It's probably not right anatomically. Bigfoot anatomically right. But that arm has interest in it, if you're asking me. Let's see what it looks like when it dries. Okay, so I've got that arm. I got this arm. Those are both damp. Now we can come down with our homemade gray onto the stuff down here. What is her last name again? Demasi. Louise Demasi. Demasi, I believe. Making herself stop is also a skill. It is. It's hard to do sometimes. Eric Lundgren doesn't speak, but it's amazing to watch him paint. Amazing with few colors. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure if I know Eric Lundgren. You are correct, Michael. It has interest and looks like hair. I just don't want to mess it up. I'm more interested in making it look interesting than making it look hairy or real or anything like that. This one, to me, already looks a little worked, but that's okay. This is in the background. This is the one in the foreground. If you're looking at this picture, honestly, you've got a line that comes up here, you got a line that comes up here, and you've got a line that goes over here. If this line, which is in front, is okay, we get some cool stuff down here, and his head is good, we're golden. We're golden. Okay. Before I make any more promises I can't possibly keep, I'm going to start working on our driftwood down here, or whatever kind of wood we're calling this, in wash wood, something like that. This wood that has just kind of fallen by the wayside. It's been hanging out in this creek bed for quite a while. We don't know what has happened to it other than it was kind of in a flood at one point in time. Heavy rain. Got all washed out. I'm trying to make up a story about it. Does anybody have this is going to be a weird question now. Does anybody have a Samsung Smart TV that they use the Smart TV function and not connect to like a Fire Stick or something like that? Now here's why I ask. Not because I'm wanting to know how you all use your TVs. We have one, a Samsung TV, and when you turn it on, you have to turn it on to a Samsung channel when you turn it on initially. It just defaults to a Samsung channel. Well, one channel that I have that it defaults to, so every time you turn the TV on, you get to see him a little bit, is the Bob Ross channel. And it's Bob just painting away all of his TV shows. He and his family, any guests that he's had, the animals that he has on the show, all of that kind of stuff, that's on there. And it, like I said, it comes on first of all. That's the first thing that happens when the TV comes on, is that comes on. And I happened to turn the TV on before going to work. The other day I was watching, I was watching some highlights of something. And he was talking about how, and this is one of the things that I really appreciate about Bob, is he tells you cool stuff like this, is your stuff is always going to be better if you can make up a story for it. Where did it come from? How did it get here? Where's it going to? What's the story of whatever you're painting? There has to be a story to it. There must be a story to it. What is it? If you can tell the story, it's going to be more interesting. So I'm telling stories about all this stuff. It got washed out in a big rain. Used to be, I'm going to say, well, it used to be all the way up in Oregon, this old tree here, right? It's all the way up there. It just got washed down 30 miles downstream. It misses home. But thankfully, it gets to spend its life here in the wash. It's got some beautiful views around. It's got a nice friend here, Bigfoot, something like that. Let's see. Let's see. JC says, Eliza, warm weather windows open for ventilation. I rarely do oils or even using Chelsea lavender oil based mediums. It's difficult. Solvent free, slow, dry, slow. And Eliza says, yes. JC, yes. I like the ventilation, although I use a solvent that doesn't have an odor. As the chalk pastels, I do them outside on non-windy days to keep the dust out of your home. Okay, well, that's a great idea. JC, I gave up oils 45 years ago because of the lack of ventilation living in the Midwest. Ugh. Ventilation in oils is a tough thing, right? It is a tough thing. Let's see, I'm going to put this all colors over here. The solvents used. The chemicals are risky. Yeah, I think so too. I watched while I was a teen. Jacqueline, I'm assuming you're talking about Bob Ross. Bob's fantastic. If I caught him on TV, I would be stuck for hours. I'm thinking he's running late for dinner. Pat could be running late for dinner. It's interesting watching the Bob Ross channel now. It's I don't watch it for very long all the time, but I do watch it from time to time, and it's quite interesting to see. What it's really interesting to do is to track what he actually paints or how he paints now, and how that matches with my memory of watching him paint and do things. And those two things are not clearly, definitely not always the same. They are not always the same. Remember Bill Alexander? Okay, Dwayne, who's Bill Alexander? Because I remember Frank Clark, but I don't remember a Bill Alexander. Did he have a painting show? Bill Alexander. I'm trying to think. Bill Alexander. I don't think I remember. Bill, who's Bill? Bill. Just watched him for about 8 hours straight last week. Wow. Frank, okay, so thank you, Liza, for remembering Frank Clark along with me. He was a fun one to watch. He was a character. But German accent, I think. Tell me who was Bill Alexander? Should I know Bill Alexander? Should I? I don't. All right, I'm going to paint his everything except for Bigfoot's face here. Right? I'm just not going to paint his face. He's got color that comes down like this. Everything but his face. You guys are gonna make me do a web search on Bill Alexander, aren't you? I know it. I'm gonna end up doing it. And then I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna go, oh, that's it. Faces are JC says face. He did the magic of he preceded Bob. The magic of oil painting. Interesting. So if he was a contemporary or, in and around the time that Bob did it, I will be honest, it would have been difficult for me being able to only watch an hour of TV a day. And I honestly don't remember ever seeing or hearing the name Bill Alexander growing up. Bob Ross studied under Bill Alexander. Wow, interesting. Okay, so now I really do have some homework now. Okay, cool. So there's a head. There's his head. All right, maybe he doesn't need that much of a receding hairline. Let's give it to him right there. There we go. There's his head. We can work with that. We can make that stick. That's going to be his head, and we're going to paint his face on after that dries. Got a good start on this log. It's a little darker here. We got a little crack. This was gonna turn out nice. We need to differentiate some of these over here. They're just a little bit wet yet. So I'm gonna come back up here, and oh man, now I did his face. I'm gonna come back up here. I'm gonna try to wet an area here, and I'm not gonna make this quite as big. Right, and I'm going to hope that this goes to a dry spot. And I'm going to put another layer of paint here, sepia, and a little bit of this burnt umber. And I'm going to let this come. I'm going to look a little bit at my reference photo. I'm going to let this come up here. Not too far, not all the not all the way. As it comes up, maybe we'll lighten this up a little bit. Maybe we'll lighten this a little bit as it comes up here. I don't want to lose that whole light spot there. But I like that this is starting to get a little darker, a little bit more in shadow here. And I like it even more that we're not necessarily using a blue to generate this shadow. This is just a dark. It's almost a neutral dark. I use it very much like a neutral dark. But look, we're getting there. And I will, because I can't not. I'm going to smudge this a little bit. Help this paint run just a little bit through here. There we go. All right, Pat, you're looking good. You're looking good. Actually, I'm going to bump my camera with my head is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little bit of color on this other side here too. Right underneath that arm. I know you guys are going, no, you're going to do too much. You're going to do too much. And you're probably right. I'm probably going to do a bit too much. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's going to have to be okay. It's going to turn out fantastic. Is this dry enough? Yeah, okay, so that's dry enough. We can come over and do some on Bigfoot's haunches here. This should be not necessarily in the sun, but in the lighter area, but because I want it to stand out a little bit. I'm going to artificially put a little extra dark on here. Everybody's going quiet. I had Bill Alexander talking, now everybody's going quiet. And I want through here to have some of this lighter color, but I want more color on there. I don't want there to be no color on here. I want there to be plenty of color on here. I want Bigfoot to stand out. I have to make the decision. I have to consciously make the decision. If I don't make the decision on how much paint I want on here, it's going to be difficult getting enough paint on here. So I'm making the conscious decision that I want quite a bit of color on here, and I'm just going to have to move it around a little bit. I'm going to try to let the paint do a lot on its own, but I am going to have to do some work in here to get some color on here. A little lighter on this side. Water coming down, and a little darker on what I'm calling the shadow side, whether it really is the shadow side or not. We have a really nice, I almost called it a delicious. It was a really nice change in color on his leg, or on her leg, as this stride is taking place. Some really nice color in here. Got some dark down here and some lighter color. And shoot, I don't want to touch this again. I got a little drip right here that I'm going to take off because I don't want to back run. But I wish I could come in and get rid of this little bit of line right there. But what's really nice is we've got this leg that comes up here. Maybe we got a little work to do on that leg. I can live with it. But you can see a leg in front here, and you can see some area up here. It's getting there. It's getting there. Let's see. Liza says, no. No. You're watching how I'm doing it. Okay, cool. Cast shadows help define his form. Exactly. Thank you, Jacqueline. Exactly right. Great minds think alike. Now, while I'm waiting for Bigfoot to dry over here, I need to look and see kind of where, let's see, I've got this. Where these logs are back here, right? I've got a kind of a log that goes back here. I'm gonna make these touch. I didn't draw them to touch, but I think if I connect these two areas, it'll look better. There we go. There's one log-ish thing. That might have gotten a bit cold. Might have also gotten a bit dark. We can move this around a little bit. And as long as we make the one in front of it a little different, I think we'll be okay with everything. I am going to have to put a shadow on that. I don't know. Let's add to it there. There we go. Now it looks more like something there. I don't know what it is. It's a tree-ish. Value studies help. Value studies. Oh, value studies. Value studies really help. They do really help. Amazing how they help. We just don't like to do them because they're not always the most fun thing to do, which is kind of true. Let's see, this one, I'm going to warm this one up a little bit. More brown here. I get the feeling that this one is kind of in front of that one. So a little bit more brown in there, and this one can come over like that. Shoo! There we go. Let's make up a story about that one. Look, that's right in front there. I hope you can see that that's in front. Maybe this one has a little bit more life left in it. something like that. This one's a little bluer. We'll put a little deeper shadow in there. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's make this come right up over top of that. This will ensure that this is going to ensure that this one is in front of that log. We've just made sure. So I don't know, something like that. There we go. I just want to make sure that that is in front. We're going to layer. Jacqueline says no. Oh yeah, it is. Value studies help. They're not fun, but yes, they are rather essential. They're super beneficial, super helpful. Not always a lot of fun. Quite honestly, not always a lot of fun. All right, I'm gonna get a little bit of this dark color back there. It looks like it's more. It looks like it's more umber than sepia. I want sepia back there. And some of this umber as we come to the side. Maybe my brush is just loaded up with the wrong color. I think we can live with that. Give me some more of this burnt umber down here. Come on. Zoop. I think this will be okay. It looks a little odd at the moment, I think. It looks a little odd. We can work with that. That'll be okay. All right. I'm jumping around, trying to find the dry areas to work in. I'm going to come up here on his arm. Put a little extra color up here. Come on, extra color. Come on up here. There we go. Hoping to enhance the colors that we have here, not overwrite some of them. I like the colors that we have up here. I don't want to change too much. I just want to enhance our value. And I think it still looks like an arm. I'm trying to see where I can rest my hand. I think it still looks like an arm. I still think it looks pretty good. I don't want to totally bisect it. That's what I'm trying hard not to do. Right? And that's the easy thing to do. You have a lighter color on one side and a darker color on the other side. It's easy to bisect that arm. I don't want to do that. So I think one thing I can do is I can bring this color up and around a bit more. That'll help at the top make that not look so two-tone. Do a little bit more down here. That might be a little bit strong. When I look down, is my hair getting in the camera? Can somebody let me know? I'd like for my hair not to be in the camera. I'd like my painting to be in the camera, not my hair. I don't. Oh, I think this arm. I think this arm really looks good up there. Let's see if we can make this other arm look just as good. And I'm really liking the way Bigfoot's turning out here. I might put a glaze of some warmer color over top of where he's at now. But I'm liking where he's at. I really am liking where he's at. I think we're working in the right direction. Sometimes it makes a guest appearance, but only I can't. My hair comes out for a guest appearance every now and again. Is it getting gray? Can you see all the gray that's in there? I mean, I know it's getting gray. It's probably not getting. It's probably already there. And that's okay. I've accepted that. There's a lot on the side. Oh, I got my glasses on my head. No wonder I can't see anything. I have my glasses on my head. Didn't realize my glasses were on the top of my head. It's not yet. Okay, cool. It's not completely gray yet. It's just working its way there. Next week, maybe. Next week. All right, cool. So I like that. I think this arm all of a sudden got better. Honestly, I like that there's more light and dark in that. It makes it look more, I don't know, it makes it look more natural, right? Don't you think? Don't you think it looks more natural? I'll add some more color down here. More of this wonderful burnt umber. I love this burnt umber color. It's just so good for so many things. So good for so many things. And I'm gonna go lightly all the way up with this. I want a lot of this color all the way up. I want that leg to be a little bit brighter than everything else. And I want it to be a little bit brighter than everything else because that red that's in there, or that brighter color, should help to pull that forward a little bit. Now, we do have to make sure that we get these rocks in and that they help to not, bring him too far forward. He can't be in front of these rocks, but he's got to be right there. And then he's got some hairs down here, right? A little darkness, we said, in his rump. That's going to add some interest. I'm trying not to have too many just straight lines in there. But, oh, look how good that looks. Sometimes... trying not to get too overly excited about it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn and go, oh, this looks fantastic. But sometimes I look at it and I go, you know what, that looks good. Sometimes you have to go, it's really is turning out really nice. Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes you got to do that. And a little bit more color up here, just for some color harmony. And that might be most of what we're going to do there. Now, I did reprofile that leg just a little bit. It's turning out really nice. Thank you. Sometimes I say that to myself and I'm like, am I surprised? It's turning out nice. Am I supposed to be surprised? I think it's turning out nice. but sometimes it does. All right, cool. Okay, so we've got some work to do on his face here. All right. Light color. Right, his face really is a little too bright. I'm okay if his face is, different than the rest of his body. That really doesn't bother me. If you look at, let's do this. Ba-bong! If you look at the reference photo there, you can see his body is, or her body is, you know, slightly different than the rest of everything that's there, right? There are some lighter areas and some darker areas, but you can definitely see the difference between the hair and the skin, the flesh that's on there. And so if we're going to have that, I'm totally okay with that. Doesn't matter to me at all. Okay, and now, so I've got Bigfoot's face on here. I've got some color mixed in there. There's just some general bumpiness. I got to let that dry for just a second. And then we're going to come back. I'm going to get my brush wet. Come on, come on. And we're going to start to add some general details. Oh, T is here. It's looking great. Thank you. Thank you. This is one of those things where I'm like, I really want to paint Bigfoot, so I'm really going to do everything I can to make this look good. All right, there's some general darker areas right there. We're going to come back. We're going to come back to the face. It's starting to take shape. I want to... You probably won't even be able to see this, but I'm going to put in a couple of lines here, like for a finger or two. Something. He's starting to look so good. Okay, now we need to come on, get over there, paintbrush. I'm gonna do some more on this log here, and what I'm gonna do on this log is paint a crack on here. There's a nice crack in this log. Maybe even a little bit more blue than that. Probably even more blue than that. I definitely want a little bit of blue. As we're down here on the bottom of this. Right, some shadow area. So I'm calling it a shadow area. It's just a darker area down here out of the light. I guess that does kind of clearly define it as a shadow area, doesn't it? It's not really a shadow. It's just an area that's not in the light. Oh, okay. Cool. Let's see. What would we call that? Oh, I don't know. A shadow? Bigfoot saw me once. Nobody believed him. Bigfoot is often confused with Sasquatch. Yeti. Yeti never complains. Ay, ay, ay. Bum, bum. Yeah. Often confused with Bigfoot. Yeti never. Sasquatch. Yeti never complains. All right, I like it. I like it. Yeah, I want more blue in here. Blue, blue, blue. In that little cut there. Maybe there's another little one here. That comes up a little bit. All right, I'm trying to make this look more tree-ish. Maybe there's a little spot right in here. What about this little tree over here? And get some blue in here. Usually I'm pretty good at painting branches and twigs and stuff like that. They usually turn out looking pretty good. Actually, that doesn't look too bad. Let's see. I got to come over here and paint this thing, whatever this one is over here. Let's get a little color on it. Shoo. Let's get a little, I don't know what we got here. Got some kind of color going on here. See if we can give it just a slightly different shape. Let's go here. This one, let's do this. This one comes in like that. Let's give that one shape. You know what I just noticed? If I don't put something here, you might not be able to see his foot. You should be able to see his foot. We're going to have to put something there. Or maybe we just don't mention it and nobody will recognize that. Nobody will remember that. Just forget I said that. Wait, Dwayne. Wait, what's happening? Great to see you all, Michael. Checking in the morning on a replay. Okay, have to be up early to get my car to the shop, so I can be ready for the window. Okay, Liza, cool. Thank you for stopping by. Seriously, always great to have you here. Enjoy you coming onto the stream and partaking in everything. So thank you for that. Go take care of what you need to so you can go get your car ready. I want you to be able to have your car all winter long. Because I know you have a winter, not like me. So I totally get it. My winters aren't real winters. See, this is back behind there. I'm going to have even more blue back there. Let's try that. Let's push this way back. See if we can do that. Maybe it won't really even matter. You know what? I'll put this in a frame and it'll just kind of block it off right there. Well, nobody will even notice it's there. Or we can always say that this is such a weird kind of a thing that you just can't imagine how all these branches are twisted up and everything in here. It's really odd. But we're starting to build up some good areas here. Maybe this one's got a little bit of green in it. Maybe not quite that much. Whatever this piece is here, let's do this. This can come over the top. If you put that little bit over top, all of a sudden you've pushed whatever's behind it back that little bit more. That's all we need to do is just get it back out of here a little bit. And then the viewer's eye is gonna determine how this all fits together. We're not worried about how it all fits together. We don't have to worry about that. Somebody else will figure all that stuff out. Okay, what we need to do is a face now. Let's get a face going on this guy. All right, I'll get a couple of nostrils here. He's not looking real happy. Here's an eye. There's an eye. Just that alone gives him a face. Just that. Uh-oh, riddle time. Okay. What do you call a Bigfoot with a six-pack? An abdominal snowman. Oh. Abdominal snowman. I was not going there. I was trying for something Canadian or something because he lives so far north. I don't know. Let's see. What are we gonna do with his eyes here? I want to give him a little something here, right around his nose a little bit. Make sure we've got under his chin just a bit. Dry my brush off really well. So if I need to blend an edge out, I can just touch. I've got, I mean, really dry brush here. I just want to barely touch that edge. Blend that out. And now it's so dry I can't pick up any paint. A little bit of color underneath his eyes here to give him a brow ridge. And if I turn him over, he's got much more of a face, much more personality now, all of a sudden. Didn't do too much with him, but he all of a sudden has much more going on here. I'm going to give him some big eyes there. All right, I can actually kind of live with that. All right, look at that. It's not much there. He doesn't need to be in great detail. But I'll tell you what I do want to do is I want to give him a little bit more color on his head up here. I know all of a sudden I'm going crazy in some of the colors up here. But I think it's really starting to come together. Oh, yes. Yes. It's looking really good. Looking really good. Really good. Is that still wet? I'm going to make this darker in front rather than behind. I want this. I already started with a dark color on this tree trunk, so I'm just going to finish with a dark color on this tree trunk. Like that. Oh, yes, yes, yes. It's getting there. It really is getting there. This is the part where I get really excited. It's definitely a pat. It is definitely a pat. This is the part where I really start to get excited about things because you can see the potential in it and you understand how cool it's starting to look. You're like 95% of the way there and you're like, oh, the finish line is clearly in sight. It's really starting to look like something. And you get totally excited about it. And that's where I'm kind of getting to right now. I can see that it's really looking cool. I want it to keep going. I do. I want it to keep going. Keep looking good. Don't stop. A couple of little extra details down here. No, it doesn't need to be much. These, hopefully, you never even see these down here anyways. I am going to put a little bit of... This is going to be more blue, hopefully to push this back just a little bit. Have you ever watched Sasquatch, the saxophone player playing Bigfoot? He's pretty good. Actually, I've never seen Sasquatch. I've never even heard of Sasquatch. That's pretty funny. Bigfoot's got the best publicist, doesn't he? Who comes up with all this stuff? What's his I want to know who his PR team is. They're doing some good work. They're really doing good work, his PR team. And you do know he's the world's greatest hide-and-seek player, right? Record-holding hide-and-seek player. He's so good. And I just touched that, and I don't want to touch that. World's greatest hide-and-seekist. Nobody can even... Once he decides to hide, nobody's ever going to find him. World champ. Exactly. All right, what do you think? It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I want to let this dry all down here. I'm really liking the way he's looking. While I'm waiting for all this to dry, it's time to put some hair on him. Okay? So I'm going to get a little puddle of this. What is this? Burnt umber. And I'm going to get a little puddle of this sepia so that where he's going to get a background right here, I can tell you, I don't want that. Where he has a little bit darker hair, we can put on some of the sepia. Where he's got a little bit of lighter hair, we can put on a little bit of this burnt umber. And I'm just going to go in a few places, not everywhere. Right? I don't know that he needs it everywhere. But certainly, and I'm going to try to be cognizant of where my hand is at, so I don't just start putting my hand in if I could speak, I'm trying to concentrate. Concentrating and speaking sometimes don't go well together. I'm trying not to put my hand in the wet paint that's down here. I really want to not do that. Put a couple of little lines here and there. They don't need to be big, and they don't need to be everywhere. I do have to be cognizant of not putting them over top of an area where they can't go over, right? Like I can't put hair over top of this because he's supposed to be behind that. So I have to watch. I don't do that. But other than that, whoop, that was a bad hair there. Other than that, lots of places I can put just little flicks of hair here and there. Here and there. Let's see, maybe he's got a few hairs out of place up here too. Right? A couple here. I'll let him come back with his scalp. He doesn't have a cowlick. No, I won't give him a cowlick. But when you look at him now, you're going to look and you go, oh, he's hairy. Because the edge of him going around has little hairs here and there. Your brain is going to associate that with being furry everywhere. And so all of a sudden he becomes furry everywhere. And saves us a lot of hassle of trying really hard to paint fur, because painting fur is difficult and really hard to do. And honestly, in my humble opinion, if you're painting fur and you're painting 10,000 furs on an animal, it's difficult. Where is his hind leg? His hind leg is here. That's his hind leg. And it goes back behind here. And don't look at that space that's open where his foot would be. Just gloss over that. No need to even think about that. There's just not, shouldn't even come into your mind. It just should not. But this is his back leg back here. This is his front leg. That little bit is his back leg. And that's where, as long as I put this here, it's perfect. I forgot. I didn't think about it. I don't know what's in the original photo. Let's put something down there. I don't know. We can't have that empty spot there now. Now it's going to bother me. Let's put something there to cover that spot up. I don't know what's back there. Maybe it's a big rock or something back there. I don't know. There, we've just covered up where his legs should be, but it's not showing through. Put some of that color over in these other places here too. It's a rock. It's something. I want to make it really blue so you know it's not Bigfoot. Who asked that question? Jacqueline. Jacqueline, stop being so observant and noticing things. No. I'm just playing with you. I'm just playing. Nope, that's where it's supposed to be, is there. I'm going to put some general color in here too. Just so long as it's different than everything else, it'll be fine. And that's an indication that maybe there's something there that you can't see Bigfoot's foot. There you go. Better. Okay, better. Now that there's more color there, now it seems more believable that you can't see where his back leg would come through and where his foot would be down here. Okay, cool. We've got him a little furry. I like his face there. Not really. Maybe squinting a little bit. Maybe squinting a little bit. Let's give him just a little bigger eye than that, right? Not a lot bigger. I think that helps out. Just a little bigger eye. I think that's about all I want to do with his face. And that might be about all I want to do with him. I think he turned out really nice. Oh, I know what I did want to do is I wanted to just take this back area back here a little bit, put a little bit of water on it, and just rough this area up a little bit. All right, let's make this not quite as smooth as it is. Maybe there's some stuff going on back here. Somewhere, right? There's something going on here. Same thing on this side. It's just a little smooth back here. You could have a little more interest, but nothing that's in focus, nothing that hopefully is going to take your interest away from anything that's going on in the foreground or the middle ground for that matter. A couple of colors of things. Something going this way, something going that way. It is a riverbed. There should be something there. About like that. All right, cool. Just enough of something going on back there that if you look at it at a glance, you know it's not flat, but not so much going on back there that you say, why is this taking away from everything in front? All right, cool. I like it. I very much like this. I'm going to sign this guy. I'm going to sign him on a tree right about here. And let's do a little bit of a little check here. Come on, Dory, what are you doing? Okay, so first off, I like the coloration of him. I like this dark a little bit more than I like this dark. I could come back and re-darken some of this up. I like this over here a little better than this, but I don't I don't want, I like that it has this kind of ethereal, watercolory look to it, right? I really like it's got this look to it. Beautiful warm brown on top, colder brown over here, really cold over here. I love the warm brown, the lighter spots, the darker spots. I really like that. That's kind of an issue when you wet your paper first or wet the entire area, is that your colors sometimes do get a little blown out. And it's hard to figure out what that level of paint is that you need in there. I'll figure that out as I get back to doing more and more of this. If I'm doing this as the normal way I do it, I'm going to control all of this color all through here, and I'm going to have to rely on my blending ability to get through here and have this, right? I can make this darker, and then I've got to rely on my blending ability to make this light line that comes up through here, and then I've got to blend down from this side. If I figure it out and have the paint do it for me, it's going to give me all these cool areas. Like that little light spot right there, I think really helps this whole arm. Dark colder, dark warmer, a light spot in the middle. You know what that might be? That might be his elbow right there. Over on this side, lighter spot, darker over here. I love how this looks. This looks like, or you can imagine that that's a little bit of the fur shimmering on his arm in the sunlight, right? Same thing up here, same thing all down here. You know this is in dark shadow. His stomach down here is in dark shadow. Up here, it's a little bit lighter, right? His right underneath his chin is going to be really dark. And then as it comes out, it gets a little bit lighter. I like the look. Is it that? No. Not at all. But doesn't it have a cool look to it? I think it does. I really like it. So there you go. That is my take on Bigfoot. And that's going to do it for us for cryptids for this year. Don't know what the challenge is going to be for November yet, and I may have to take a couple of days off in November, so November will probably be a little bit light. I have family coming in from out of town, and I'll be spending time with them. I'll let you guys know either through the community channel here on YouTube or in Discord, so nobody's left in the lurch. But that's what I got for you. That's Bigfoot. I want to thank you all for joining me for this Wednesday live stream. I very much enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed having you here. I very much enjoyed painting Bigfoot. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you all take the opportunity to go and paint your own Bigfoot. Either find the original Patterson-Gimlin picture or find mine. I have it posted in my Discord channel. The link should be down below. Jacqueline says, don't eat too much candy. I'll let you know what we're doing next week. Until then, I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I hope you're able to join me back here again next week when we do this whole thing all over again. Until then, thanks so much. Bye-bye.